All right, 6 o'clock. I am legally allowed to start streaming now. Welcome, Goose. I don't know if you're here now, but thank you for the comment early this morning. So happy to see you come around again. Oh, I'm slouched. I'm slouched in the chair. I'm gonna see how far into the stream I can get with my feet up. I'm very tired. I don't know why I'm so tired. I really shouldn't be. But welcome. That's a great high energy opening, huh? Welcome to the stream. Here we are. As usual, I will run through some headlines relating to animation specifically. Cartoon Brew also seems to occasionally cover video game related stuff. I don't know. I don't know where that comes into play, but we'll do some of that. And then our main deal today is we're gonna play Flash games, I guess. This is something that I'm very happy to see that there's been a bit of a revival. Revival's not the right word, but there has been a recent trend of like actual, content people, influencer people focusing on, not focusing, but featuring Flash games, old Flash games, and acknowledging the value of Flash games, and specifically playing them on stream or for videos and stuff. Specifically, I saw Clint over at LGR. Yes, LGR. I don't say this out loud much, so I had to check myself. Clint over at LGR did a sort of Christmas video playing old Christmas Flash games, which brought my attention to a program that we're going to be using that essentially archived a huge number of Flash games. I saw some other big, streamer folks doing Flash game streams somewhat recently. And I don't know, I'm happy to see it, and for context, I guess, this goes back to something that I made a video about a very long time ago. I couldn't even tell you what year it was. I'm guessing it would be 2020 or 2021. That is my best guess. It was ages and ages ago. Anyway, it was around I guess we could look it up this way, but it was around the time when major browsers were going to stop supporting Flash, right? And that also meant that a lot of Flash-based web content, games and videos specifically, were going to be adversely affected. And I wasn't, I wasn't looped in at the time. I wasn't doing much research on it. I was just saying, hey, for my part, I love some of this classic, to me, classic Flash animation that I grew up with online. We would look it up in computer class, and in particular, I pointed to muffinfilms.com, and the animator of which went on to have like a fantastic career in animation. Anyway, long story short, the video is just saying, hey, please, I really hope that if this stuff gets saved, because it is actually important. It's legitimate, despite the fact that so much of it is like silly and really brief and very simple. That's also part of the charm, and also just the sheer amount of creativity that we got from Flash games and Flash videos and all sorts of stuff. It was phenomenal. So it was only then within this last month or so that I saw LGR's video and immediately thought, oh, this is fantastic. I have to get this program. I have to play through some of these old Flash games. And I have a little bit just on my own time, but I'll be happy to do that here on stream as well a little bit later on. I don't know. As always, I have no idea whether that's of interest to other folks. But we'll see. And also because they're such simple games most of the time, it's not gonna I can still interact, I can still hold conversations and we can talk about other things. It's not like the games suck up all of my attention, as opposed to more professionally made stuff, more involved things. So that's what we are going to be doing today on the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Feel free to kick your shoes off and stay for a while. And is there anything else? Let's see. Channel stuff, I guess. Yeah, I have a couple videos that I'm sort of kind of in the process of making. I've at least been writing the scripts for a couple different videos uh, that are closer to sort of the, I don't know, theory adjacent stuff that I used to do a long time ago. Uh, but I think that I think they're things worth talking about. I think they could be interesting to folks. So we'll see how those go. But I have no idea on the timeline for those videos at all. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was kind of a joke at first, but I actually would like to do and revisit The Boy and the Heron multiple more times in the future. But I don't, it's not going to be anytime soon. I don't think it's time to move on, and certainly the internet has already moved on. I think, at least from that initial phase, right? So let's just say the YouTube animation channels in particular. There's a pattern, right? There's a very clear and consistent pattern to how the community responds to and talks about big animated movies that most of the community really likes, right? So obviously, there's a huge amount of admiration and respect for Ghibli and for Miyazaki specifically, and YouTube continues to talk all of his stuff into the ground, in my opinion. like I've kind of gotten enough of that. And so it is certainly my expectation that with The Boy and the Heron, we have the initial wave of reviews, right? Pretty straightforward reviews, relatively short, informing purchasing decisions and viewing decisions, right? Just saying, hey, here's what I thought of the movie. Does it get a recommendation? Does it not get a recommendation? Then there's typically a pause. There's a nice long pause. People have time to sort of forget about the movie or just get distracted by other things and focus on other things. And then inevitably, at least a number of months later, if not longer, you have the revival. You have channels returning with typically longer, more serious, and more in-depth videos about that particular movie. If it's the type of movie that people feel is noteworthy, either for being very good or for being very bad. Anyway, I expect that to happen 100% with The Boy and the Heron. But at the same time, I do respect the valley. That was the opposite of the shape. The valley in the middle, the number of months where, oh, that seems like old hat. It's out of theaters now. It hasn't been released, for home viewing yet. That isn't typically the time when people want to hear about the thing. So, yeah. Whether or not video games have that same kind of pattern, it would be interesting to look at. I would have to imagine it is pretty similar, even if I'm sorry, I'm just going off on a whole thing here, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Even if we just think about how YouTube gaming channels handled Breath of the Wild, right? We obviously had plenty of pre-release hype, and of course, upon release, coinciding with the release of the Switch on its own, massive amount of attention, and you're getting all the official review numbers. You're getting the aggregate scores for the game. Every channel in the world having anything to do with Nintendo or video games has to make some kind of comment on it soon or, immediately after release. And I do think there was a gap. It would be interesting to study exactly how long it was, but there was a gap. And then after a certain amount of time had passed, 6 months, a year, whatever, that is when we started to see the big videos emerge, right? The highly analytical, incredibly long videos discussing Breath of the Wild in greater detail, either to say, yes, it is indeed a masterpiece, and I think it's just fantastic, or to say, no, it didn't deserve all that hype upon its initial release. So I'm not against that pattern at all. I'm not trying to, mark it as good or bad, but seeing the pattern at all, I think is interesting. And it's, in a sense, it just benefits from context, right? Context builds, feelings change, recency bias starts to wear off for certain things. So I do see it as a positive thing that people can approach it from a different angle a certain amount of time after the initial release. At the same time, I am getting a little bit tired, just on a personal level, of the mega videos. The longer my video is, the more important it must be. That's definitely a trend that I've started to grow weary of a little bit. And not as someone who makes videos as a hobby. I don't, it's not something I plan on doing, but I totally respect someone's decision to make a video that long and that in-depth, or claiming to be that in-depth, I guess. But beyond that, as a viewer, as a viewer and as someone who has written as a job for not a tremendously long time, but for a decent amount of time for sure, seeing anything that long also just makes me think you're bad at editing. Which is not a criticism I could, who's going to take me seriously when I say that? I think there's diminishing returns on the actual value of a video that long. And that's when I start to get more cynical and just think, yeah, they just want it to have this massive timestamp, in the thumbnail. They're like, oh, that must be important then. This must be an important video. This must be the definitive, look at this particular media product. Anyway, so there's a nice little tangent for you. But yes, I will go back to The Boy and the Heron at some point, probably. And it is a movie that I like at this stage. I certainly appreciate it a whole lot. It has not yet entered into like the annals of the great animated movies for me yet, but we'll see how that goes over time. And of course, this was in the news somewhat recently that, hey, it won the Golden Globe. This is sort of it makes for a good headline, of course, right? It's the first foreign film ever to win the Golden Globe for animation, which is, yeah. I guess my only additional comment there would be, it's the Golden Globes. It's certainly not the most serious. It is certainly not the most well-regarded award series. It's not the most prestigious organization behind this award series, whatever, awards franchise maybe. Anyway, so yes, good thing, obviously. Good thing. I also read somewhere that it was Miyazaki's first ever Golden Globe, I think, and again, yes, good. Yes, that is a good thing. That is a positive thing. But at the same time, it's the Golden Globes. Has Miyazaki won an Oscar? I wonder. Yes, of course he has, right? Yes? Yeah, Spirited Away. Right. So even more so now, I feel a bit strange about, really celebrating this particular piece of news. It's kind of like saying, hey, in 2018, this person drove a Toyota for the first time in their life. And then the extra context is, well, in 2005, they raced, Lamborghinis on the regular. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. There are qualities unique to it, to a commercially available Toyota. But it's not necessarily, the career highlight that some of the outlets seem to try to paint it as. Anyway, Salary report confirms men are making more than their female counterparts in animation. Terrible. It's a terrible thing, and sad, and honestly confusing. I obviously need to do more research on it, but I just don't understand how those manifest, how those gaps manifest. I would assume it has to come along in terms of raises over time, right, in promotions maybe, as opposed to initial hiring. because at least with every job that I have ever had a shot at, it was always just a fixed, salary or hourly wage, as the case often was and still is, I guess. I don't know. I would like to learn more about that. So just too sad, I think, for now. I'm trying to avoid some of the more miserable headlines that we have here. What else do we have? Okay, let's just this YouTuber Phil Edwards argues. Wow, I hope. My gosh, what a way to come up in an article. Okay, not because he was an incredible character, but because he literally pushed at the edges of what film could do, referring to Mickey Mouse, for using sound. I don't know. It's certainly a way of making Mickey and the introduction of sound in animation sound incredible and sound like this massive achievement. No, I don't know. I specifically because I was recently reading that book 7 Minutes, about the early history of American animation in particular, and talking about Felix the Cat versus the early Mickey Mouse shorts. And basically, a number of factors killed off Felix the Cat, but especially Steamboat Willie and the introduction of sound to the Mickey Mouse shorts did. But something that book at least puts forth again and again is just like, Mickey was really not that great a character. Like, he's really not that great a character. And arguing that just the flat out inclusion of sound is pushed at the edges of what film could do. Like, okay, yet again, technically, that's pushing the boundaries, but it's also one of those things where you absolutely know that somebody else would have done it. Like, it was going to happen. The technology had come about. It was suddenly possible. I don't know. Unless there's more context that I need for how only Disney Animation could have possibly ever introduced sound into animation. I don't know. I remain sort of cynical about that. I will say, recent Cartoon Brew is an excellent resource if you're looking to learn more about some of the animated shorts that are potentially will be nominated for Oscars. We're at a shortlist, the shortlist stage at this point. They have a bunch of stuff here, bunch of little snippets of talking to the filmmakers. That's cool. It's not necessarily the kind of thing that I don't know. It doesn't quite fit a stream exactly. But interesting. And as I've talked about, wow, I don't even remember when the last time was that we talked about it, but a while ago, we just talked about how the lack of accessibility for Oscars animated shorts specifically are such an issue, and how it just it feels odd, like, chances are, if you're into movies to any kind of degree, by the time the Oscars roll around and you see the list of nominations, you see the ceremony itself, you hear the titles being read out, you recognize at least some of them, right? And you have thoughts probably on a lot of them, regardless of whether or not you've actually watched the movies. With the animated shorts, it's like never. Like, I would consider myself to be pretty interested in animation, and I think I do an okay job of following animation news and stuff like that. But every time it's just, I've never heard of any one of them. And it's like, oh, okay, well, now I'm sort of interested. I saw a 4-second clip of this one short. It looks kind of neat. Where do I watch it? Good luck. It's to the point where I'm guessing even if you wanted to pirate some of these shorts or something, or find, do VPN stuff and find it streaming on a service somewhere in Europe or somewhere where you don't happen to live, I don't think even that would work. Like, they are so hard to find most of the time. And one of the only exceptions this year in particular is it the Bravest locomotive, the Brave locomotive? Either way, that did get posted right to YouTube. What, a couple of months ago? And I think, at least the last time I checked, it was easily over 5 million views. So, like, is this not an obvious win-win? And I'm not saying that every Oscar shortlisted animated short or feature is going to be a crowd pleaser. Some of them can be quite serious, can hit on very heavy subject matter. Not as outwardly likable as something like the Brave/Bravest Locomotive, but still, the people have an opportunity to actually engage with the work prior to the Oscars. I think that's special, because then they can actually, for one thing, they're more encouraged potentially to actually watch the ceremony and tune in. And we know that the Oscars is in desperate need of greater viewership. And well, hey, if the animator, I'm pretty sure, uploaded on his own channel, or the director rather, he had a team, of course. You're getting ad revenue too. And, trust me, like, ad revenue isn't what it used to be, for professional YouTube people, even. That you're still going to get a decent amount of money from 5+ million views, let alone, it might be over 10 million by now. It was a really impressive number. So it's odd to me. It's confusing. Obviously, the international component makes things even fuzzier, of course, because distribution, who owns the rights, does it even have a distributor? It does get messy, but I don't know. Some unifying force would really be appreciated here. Just some consolidated opportunity to watch this stuff. The only thing really I think I've ever seen is live screenings here in LA. So, a particular art house theater might say, oh, we're going to show all of the nominated shorts. Check it out. It's this particular day. Go for it. I just don't think that's very common. I doubt that happens in every city. And even then, like, accessibility of going to a live theater for a screening versus just being able to watch at home is there's a big gap there. Anyway, another ramble out of the way. I don't know why this is the mood today, but I guess we're just going with it. Okay, well, here's a headline. Japanese tech group aims to address AI's copyright and ethical issues with new opt-in generative software. So let's read just a little bit, I guess. I have my thoughts on just the initial concept, of course, but in terms of the specifics here, framework, community, right. Oh boy. Oh good, we got blockchain going. Don't you worry. Autonomous decentralization and blockchain. They're never that far off from each other, are they? Okay. This sounds like stuff pulled from slides. Yeah, this is just like business plan stuff. I don't know. I'll just say yes, the concept of actually paying artists money for ripping off their work to train AI systems, generally good. Whether or not it's actually a feasible sort of long-term solution to the issues raised by widespread usage of generative visual AI specifically, I have no idea. Absolutely. The cynicism just says no. The cynicism say it'll be like Spotify level payouts for your work. And the other tricky thing there is this is just one particular business venture here. And at least based on what we've seen so far, the big name generative systems have already scooped up almost everything that was already on the internet. So, like, it could come down to, oh, I'm getting, paid a $50 for thousands of people to use, AI that drew from my work over here on this service. But meanwhile, any number of people could be benefiting from my work in some direct or indirect way by using a completely different system that has chosen not to acknowledge artist rights in any way, to not acknowledge the copyright issues presented by this stuff. So I but hey, that also ties into just some of my feelings on general blockchain endeavors. I'm kind of shocked that it has survived thus far as a buzzword. I just don't. I don't know. I really thought we'd move past that, and I was very happy about that, but I guess not. We're still talking about it, or at least they're still talking about it over in Japan. I don't know. Unity laid off a huge amount of people. That's great, huh? That's just awesome. Another topic I didn't really want to delve into, but that might be kind of it. Yeah, it's a lot of this Oscars hopeful stuff so far. This could be interesting. Let's check out this headline here. Okay, analysis suggests anime provides more to Netflix than Netflix gives back to anime. All right. Anime expert Miles Thomas Atherton, the perfect name, of course, and a dubious title at best, gave readers an industry insider's point of view on Netflix's massive 2023 viewer data dump. Oh, yeah, which I should probably check out in detail sometime, released last December. Hi, Toots. How's it going? Welcome in. I've just been rambling for half an hour or so. How are you doing? What's up? What have you been getting up to this week? Okay. This is a lot of information. I'm trying to... right. It's still vague enough to... Okay. It's still vague enough to make definitive conclusions harder to draw than they would be with more precise data. That's a hell of a way to start off your in-depth definitive analysis. But okay. I guess it's honest. Goose. Oh, hey, Goose. You're back. Welcome back. Thank you for being the first in the chat earlier today. Netflix is riding off of the success of anime rather than the other way around. Oh, yeah. Right. The Netflix anime relationship is unbalanced. Like, wow. Could somebody draw that, please? Could someone please visualize the Netflix anime relationship without AI? It's unbalanced because other anime platforms are doing the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting the medium. It's a rising tide lifts all boats situation where huge anime IPs have built up the art form over years and hundreds of episodes, creating an audience for anime content that Netflix can exploit without having to lay that foundation. But okay. But at the same time, like what how much of that is Netflix's fault, I guess? Is this a rebuke that they didn't contribute to that stuff years ago? Because there's not much we can do about that now, right? Is there a suggestion that Netflix needs to be promoting the concept of anime more? This is really something. Netflix doesn't promote anime titles with the zeal it does other animated and live action content. Do they have to, though? I don't know. I'm certainly not trying to defend Netflix overall. I feel like anime popularity is sort of good to go at this point in the West. Like I just am continually seeing evidence that people are into this stuff, whatever flavor it happens to be. I don't know, like I guess I'm more concerned about how much they're actually paying to license these specific properties. You know, if they're making fair deals with the people who own the rights, like okay then, great. I don't know. Anyway, Tudes, AI blockchain anime is a phrase that would make Satan himself tell you to. It was a hell of a yeah, that was a hell of an article there. And I'm happy not to look into it further, at least for the moment. In fact, I'll go ahead and close the tab so we can save some RAM. Toot says, I'm good. Winter finally hit my city. It's below 20 Celsius. It's going to hit minus 40 soon. Oh my gosh. Best of luck. I mean, I say that I don't know. I don't know how it is where you live. You know, where I grew up, I feel like intense, snowstorms and blizzards were rare enough that it was pretty much a guaranteed shut down, like you're off of work, you're out of school and stuff like that. But I'm worried that places that have harsh, extreme temperatures like that more regularly wouldn't, like they would just assume you're going to continue living life as usual. I don't know if that's the case. I hope not. I hope that kind of weather gives you, opportunities to get out of certain obligations. And as long as your heat's working and stuff like that, and you have decent insulation. I definitely had a couple of winters, not in LA, obviously, but a couple of winters and crazy blizzards and stuff and power outages and things like that. And yeah, all of a sudden, even having your apartment or house or whatever is very different if you're not actually able to keep it warm. So I hope it's not that bad. I'm just jumping to the extremes, of course. But there's also a lot I really enjoy about cold weather. Mostly if there's snow, but even if not, I don't know. There's something appealing to me about it. Yeah. Is there anything else from this? I don't know. Well, let's see how they wrap this up. Netflix anime numbers are overwhelming in Asian territories. So is low penetration. Must do so in Asia with so much competition. Okay. Yes. All right. Harry Potter. It feels safe to assume that Netflix will continue to focus on acquiring and producing anime as it expands its Asian footprint. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there, isn't it? No, I want like the full spreadsheet here. The Excel document with show data can be downloaded here. Hope this is safe. Sure it's fine. Probably okay. Let me look for this file here for a second. It's sort of tricky because I also don't have Excel. Let's see if I can import to Google Sheets. Can I do that? No? Let's see. File. For just a moment. Sorry, I know this is not the most compelling visual, but I would actually like to look at this data here. Upload, please. Yes. There we go. All right. Yes. Import data. Let us see what we get. Nothing. Okay. We'll leave that there. Oh, hey. Here we go. We got it. Oh, okay. It's relatively simple in the sense that the types of data we have are apparently kind of limited. Engagement. Lovely tab. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Hours viewed from January to June 2023. It is in descending order, right? I don't remember that any of these were mentioned as the top 10s in the article that was associated with this one, but I don't know. I also don't... I have heard of you. I have heard of Wednesday, but a lot of this stuff I never heard. Also, it's only 6 months, right? It's not exactly comprehensive. Love is Blind. Have you guys ever watched that, man? It is, yeah, it is bad. Okay. I do wish we could sort by different categories and stuff, but I guess that's, that's a bit too much. Yeah, Coco Milan is right there. Don't you worry. Stranger Things. They're apparently doing another season of Stranger Things, right? Sorry, let me get the display back up. My gosh. Do any of you folks still watch Stranger Things? are we still invested in Stranger Things at this point? I dropped away so long ago that I barely remember what was happening. Nostalgia was happening. I remember that much. Other than that, not a lot. Minions is here at 103. 96 million hours. Is that the unit we have here? Yeah. Okay. Oh, Formula One. Okay. Hey, Juice, what's up? I only watched season 1. Yeah, I don't even remember if I finished season 1. I think I did. Because they're relatively short seasons, I believe. Squid Game is here. I feel like there's been a decent amount of Korean representation so far. Just at a glance. Selling Sunset, my god. Ooh. Tude says we have occasional snow days, but from my experience, schools and businesses stay open even at -30. There's just more people working from home. Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's awful. Gosh, yeah. I'll keep my fingers crossed that if there's anything really apocalyptic that you can just hang out at home. And still get food and stuff. That's the other thing. Oh my gosh. There's one okay. So this is one of the blizzards. So like the roads weren't closed, but they were also caked over pretty well. So like you could technically drive on them. It was probably a bad idea. So some of the restaurants and stuff were still doing delivery, and I am sure that they were just getting absolutely slammed. Right? I'm sure it was miserable, and there were probably even deliveries they just couldn't make, you know? Mid-route, they were just like, this isn't going to happen. Anyway, but I brought it up because there was one day and I was hanging out with a friend and we were like, we need food. We don't really have groceries right now. So we'll look around. Oh, look, this pizza place is open. All these other places are closed. I'm sure this pizza place, they'll have our backs. It's going to be fine. So I called them, not realizing that it was probably like, I don't know, 20 minutes before they closed or something like that. Called them on the phone, and immediately the person on the other end basically just said no and hung up. Like there's no there was no discussion. There was no attempt to encourage them to actually deliver us food. It wasn't gonna happen. Oh my goodness. Dude says, I'm very invested in Stranger Things, but I don't follow the news about it to avoid spoilers. I just know the 5th season is the last. They'll definitely try to milk some spin-off from it, though. That makes, yeah, the latter bit there, that makes a lot of sense. And it's something we've probably mentioned many times before, is just the fact that Netflix, apparently coming straight from them, they don't like to have series drag on all the time. Specifically like original series, right? That they're paying for, basically. They want a handful of good seasons. If something's really popular, 5, 6, 7. I forget how many. Was BoJack 6 or 7? I don't remember. Either way, there have been some slightly longer shows, but nothing at the level of, some of the broadcast television shows that just seem to go on for all of eternity. So yeah. Anyway. Okay. Some things are standing out, and other things I just, Sea Beast is here. There you go. 215. How about that? Peppa Pig season 2. Sure. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Less interesting than I thought. Unless I could really sit down and sift through all of it. I'm not getting a ton of this. I was hoping for more types of data too. That would be kind of interesting. Okay. The Smurfs. What is this? I was not aware of some kind of recent Smurfs show. Shrek 2. That makes sense. Absolutely. 328. Um, cool. All right. Yeah, no. All I saw for what made me aware of the new Stranger Things stuff at all is just that I think there was some photo posted to Netflix of like a read, like a table read, although there was no table. And it just shows the cast and other people involved with the show with scripts and stuff. And they're like, look, it's now in production. There you go. So that's all I saw. But yeah, again, I did not keep up with the show. I don't know what's happening at all. I don't know how they've developed it. I certainly noticed how the cast, the former children, don't really look much like children anymore, which is to be expected. By the way, how crazy is it that Hilda just came back out of the blue? I think we did mention it before, but Hilda just came back with a season that's like all growed up version of Hilda, and then also a movie to finish off the season, like just out of nowhere. What on earth? Mitchell's versus the Machines. I feel like that's, well, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that movie, but it feels like it's kind of low down to me. I don't know if that's something that people are going to hold on to in the years to come. I don't know if that's going to be a classic or even a cult classic. I don't know. I don't feel it personally, but okay. Well, there we go. Less compelling than I expected. Okay, cool. We'll leave it there. I'm just so enticed to keep scrolling. This is a very long list. Yeah. Oh, 100,000. Oh no. It wouldn't feel great, right? It wouldn't feel great for your show to just be at the bottom. With probably less than 100,000 hours watched, but they round it up, I suppose. Lots of comedy specials down here, it would seem. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Good to go. Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's weird, even the even the image they use for this article, like, at least based on this stuff, Netflix definitely does not have all of One Piece, right? Or at least they certainly didn't a couple months ago when I was trying to watch through it. They absolutely do not have anywhere near all of the Pokemon anime. So there's that. And it's just a guess, but I'm going to say they don't have all of Naruto either, which is, it's just, it's indicative of how streaming is nowadays and how fractured just trying to watch a single thing has become, which was highlighted by Donkey's pretty good video from earlier this week, I think. Anyway, it's funny to me, like, hey, look at all this anime that Netflix is trying to take advantage of, and it's like they have a selection. They have like a slice of some of these shows. But yeah, anyway. Cool. All right. Anything else? Anything else we need to chat about? Anything else anybody's been watching or playing that they feel like bringing up? You're welcome to it. Whatever you got. It's been a very exciting day here at the Hideout. Because like my last month or so of online shopping kind of culminated today, and I got a bunch of stuff delivered from different places, and I've specifically been buying up some old video games and stuff, and I ordered probably can't really see this very far, but I ordered a GameCube from Japan for reasons, and unfortunately it showed up a lot faster than I thought it would, and I don't have a converter yet. So I have it here, ready to go. I got some games, and I just can't connect it to any of my display devices. So, kind of a high and low at the same time. Anyway, Juice says the big twist that Godzilla versus King Kong wasn't on streaming in the Donkey video was crazy. It was fun. I think that was well done. I think he did a good job of like distracting you from that, how he opened the video, you know. And then bookending. It was great. And actually the modern Godzilla versus Kong movie is, I'm not crazy about it. Like, it's fine. I did watch it pretty soon after it came out, I think. I forget whether or not that had a theatrical release, because that was pandemic times, right? Don't remember if it went straight to streaming. Either way, that is one of the only movies that I have in like beautiful 4K HDR for my semi-nice TV. And I don't know why. I guess it was cheap. That must have been it. It was relatively cheap to get. And it is like a good looking movie if you're not looking at people, you know? If you're looking at monsters or special effects or like, you know, entirely fabricated environments, it's a great looking movie. It's just not, when it's people talking, no, it's nothing. You know, it's nothing at all. But the effects look great. Juice says, my dad is a huge Godzilla fan, and he already knew it wasn't on streaming when I told him, so apparently this is a huge deal for Godzilla fans. Wow. Okay. Okay, but even Godzilla, I mean, did it change hands at some point? I believe Toho still has a hand on the ball, right? Because I'm pretty sure they still put the logo in front of the new movies. But I can guarantee that it changed in terms of production houses and stuff like that over the years and different media entities. So I'm guessing that's why it's been split apart in the way that it has. Also, Juice, did you see Godzilla Minus Zero? Has anyone else seen that movie yet? I know it was kind of the talk of the town for like a week or so there. I still haven't seen it. I was talking to a friend earlier today who said, oh yeah, I was kind of forced to see it. And it was okay. But I might have missed my shot at seeing it in the theater. I think we're past that point already. But yeah, I would love to hear some thoughts on it if anyone has seen the movie. Two says, what's your prediction about the future of the TV industry now that streaming is becoming less and less convenient and most platforms don't seem to have a shot at profitability? Yeah, so just to set the bar, you know, as based on everything that I've seen recently or years ago, Netflix continues to not be profitable. I continue to hear that Netflix is just doing a massive amount of deficit spending, right, to keep the whole thing afloat. And that's just essentially their business model at this point. I don't even know if they have an expectation to actually become profitable in the years to come. Although you would expect that that is why they are investing so much in the first place, is that like, oh, one day something's going to break, you know, and we'll continue to be on top. And that's the other funny part of this, of course, is like, we could very seriously make an argument that Netflix is on the top of streaming right now, right? Like, I'm not saying that is the definitive state of things. You can make an argue for Max being pretty darn good nowadays. Disney Plus certainly has a very nice little niche of its own, although it's also not profitable yet at all. But you could argue, oh yeah, Netflix has managed to pull through. They were on top in sort of the early days of legitimate, desirable home streaming, and they're certainly in the top tier today, despite the fact that they're not actually making any money. So I feel that alone bodes ill for any sort of streaming entity that exists outside of a pre-established media giant, right? Because obviously we have, you know, we know who Disney is attached to. We know who Max is attached to now, right? Peacock, Paramount, etc. Here in the States anyway. all have ties to massive either media companies or broadcasters or both, and they have their own bank, right? Unless the companies that hold the rights are falling apart and we just don't know about it yet, they have other ways of getting money when they really need it, whereas a somewhat independent company like Netflix has to go to, investors, third parties, etc., to get the money they need to just keep the sinking ship, like, I guess, like, not even afloat, but halfway out of the water. So I'm very concerned that the future is just an automatic return to essentially a more expensive version of traditional cable or satellite television, right? Like, you're probably paying too much money. You're probably paying for a bunch of stuff that you don't actually want to have access to in the first place, just because it is bundled with some of the stuff that you do actually want. And that there will be very few alternatives, especially now that physical media, however much we want to argue about the extent to which this is true, is dead or on life support, and is certainly not at the same manufacturing levels as in previous decades when it was a viable alternative. It just makes me sad. I don't see positive outcomes really, unless there is some kind of significant backlash in term monetary backlash, right? If services start to lose incredible amounts of subscribers over time because they just can't afford it. But unfortunately, I think they're also trying to mitigate that by having these disgusting ad inclusive plans, right? So like, oh no, there is something you can afford technically, and on paper you're like, oh yeah, $8 a month is better than $24 a month. That is closer to my budget. Unfortunately, the viewing experience is miserable. So I don't know. It feels unfortunately like we're just heading towards a loss of quality of life in terms of the user experience. While I don't know, if the company behind it causing that terrible experience was making a bunch of money, at least it would make some kind of sense, right? But if it's all in service of a platform that is ultimately a loss for the company, what on earth? It feels like something just waiting to fall apart, but I have absolutely no idea where we would even go from here. Maybe I'm just not a creative enough person, or a smart enough person to imagine a happier alternative or a brighter future for continued access to huge libraries of stuff that you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for, and that doesn't shift from service to service on a basically weekly basis. I don't know. But I'm generally cynical about it, generally negative in terms of the outlook. Sorry, that was a very long answer. Anyway, Juice says, I haven't seen -1, but I heard it's great. Cool. Yeah, I've only heard good things about it, really. I haven't checked critic scores or reviews or anything yet, but I would like to see Godzilla -1 if I get the chance. AJ Studios, welcome. How's it going? AJ says, just joined the chat. Well, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm just rambling about stuff today. If you go back and watch the start, it's just more of this. It's just more of me rambling about different things, which I promise is not my intention when I start these things out, but it's just how it goes. I promise I will play Flash games at some point. I've just enjoyed chatting with everybody, and we will continue to do that as I go through some of the Flash games too, of course. That's what we're here for. How about you, AJ? Have you watched anything recently? Where do you stand with some of the streaming services right now? Have you given up on trying to keep up with everything? Do you have a couple standbys? I think I really am just down to like three, or there's probably one other one that I'm forgetting about but still paying for. Probably 3. Crunchyroll I forget about. I do have Crunchyroll, I think. Yes. But that lives on my PlayStation. There's no app. I have a smart TV, but the smart TV does not have a Crunchyroll app. I do think they have a Funimation app, but Funimation isn't supposed to exist anymore. I think they have a High Dive app, but no one on the planet uses High Dive. So there's that. But yeah, talked about it previously. I did drop Netflix. I dropped Max a long time ago. Oh yeah, I do have YouTube Premium. That's a little bit embarrassing. I don't know if I should drop that soon. That might be too much. Not too much financially necessarily, but just too much on my weighing on my conscience, I guess. Okay. So in the meantime, we'll obviously we'll continue to chat about whatever. Go for it. But I do have to fulfill my promise of playing through some Flash games. As I said at the very start, this is a program called Flashpoint that is basically a de facto preservation library of a huge number of Flash games. As you can see here, we have a handful in this program. So certainly, if there's anything you remember from the olden days, if you're old enough to have played Flash games and stuff when they were brand new, feel free to shout them out. It's a rough go. There's a lot of copyrighted music in here. There's a lot of like edgelord humor and violence in here too. That was just how it was done back in the day. But we're still going to try it. Also, they're incredibly loud. Every single one of these is incredibly loud. So I will have to keep a close eye on the levels here. They're so loud. I don't know. I guess we just didn't have access to like audio mixing technology at this time. Ow, 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 ow. Sorry. When I'm wearing the hat and the headphones and my glasses, it hurts my ears. Juice says Age of War. Let's take a look. Also, this search is really bad. So, you know, it's got to be spot on or it's just going to say I can't find it. There you go. Does it look like this? I mean, I assume this is the correct one. Also, check out these download speeds. Incredible. I don't want to start it up yet, but here's what I'll do. I have a category running here with favorites. So we can just throw stuff in here. Cool. Take control of 16 different units and 15 different turrets to defend your base and destroy your enemy. Okay. Like tower defense stuff? Or are you inhabiting the different units? You start at the Cavern Man's Age. That's nice. Then evolve. There's a total of 5 ages each with its units and turrets. I hope you have fun with this game. So many hours of hard work. Wow. From 2008. Nice. Mouse only. You says yes. Did that hit a nerve? Did that hit a nostalgia bone? You look like an average lumberjack. Just need the jacket. Thanks. I can't tell if you're saying that to me or to this gentleman here. But if you're saying it about him, I'll take it. I'll take the compliment on his behalf. Yeah, I do like mouse only stuff. It is nice. A lot of the stuff I pulled for favorites are also mouse only stuff. I did find Kitten Cannon at some point. Also, welcome. I'm gonna say Astro. Welcome, Astro, to the chat. Thank you for being here. I did find Kitten Cannon at some point, but for whatever reason, unless am I somehow getting the name wrong now? I don't seem to be able to find it anymore. No, it's right here. Yeah, when I searched it yesterday, I swear, it wasn't there. It just wasn't. Cool. All right. Sorry, Juice is another one. Fancy Pants Adventures was awesome. Oh, I'm sure I've seen that one. I'm just going to put in Fancy Pants so that we don't strain the search too much. How you doing, Astro? What's up? Watched anything good this week? Played anything good this week? There's a lot of these, huh? This looks like the first one. Yeah, World 1 sounds like a beginning to me. Cool. Okay. Pop it in. So, Tude says, does it have any of the... Oh, if you hear loud audio, I apologize. It's trying to start up. I don't want you to start up the game yet. Okay. So loud. In my headphones especially. It's so loud. Tude says, does it have any of the dirt bike games? Those are my jam back in the day. Are they just... Is it just called dirt bike something? Let's see what we got. How about you, Goose? If you're still here, let me know, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. Do you have any Flash games that you like, or are you too young for this stuff? Max Dirt Bike? Stunt Dirt Bike? Max Dirt Bike 2? Dirt Bike? Whoa, look at the graphics on that one. Well, let me know, Tudes. It seems we have some options. I guess it is tricky because dirt bike is also just like a phrase, you know? But these sound right to me. Yeah. Dirt Bike Masters. Wow. Anyway, I'll give my brief little spiel. Oh wow. Sorry, the face cam footage is so noisy. I just don't. There's no light here right now, and I didn't expect it to get this dark for some reason. Flash was very important for the history of animation for reasons we don't need to delve into in great detail at this time. It was a huge deal. In fact, one version of Flash is what I started to learn animation on. Very basic animation. I'm still not very good at it. But anyway, I did learn on Flash. It was eventually converted to or rebranded as Adobe Animate. But it's also just generally a different program at this point. Flash really is dead and gone. And as I mentioned way at the start of the stream, Flash was the support for Flash was discontinued a couple years ago, 2020 or 2021. I don't quite remember. Maybe even 2019, but it's hard to remember. Go ahead and download that. So obviously, despite the fact that there's professional, oh no. Despite the fact that professionals were using Flash, or at least certain professionals, it was also just the realm of DIY stuff all over the place. And obviously, as you may have guessed, not just for animated work on its own, but video games. And it just felt like the floodgates had opened at that point. So I was still pretty young at the time. I wasn't, well acquainted with how any of this stuff actually worked. And I still couldn't tell you how most of these games were actually programmed, and the extent to which they were using different features of Flash. The technical side is a blur to me. But the significance was clear. Certainly at the time, it was just like, oh my gosh, so many free games I get to play. But then over time, you really start to appreciate the fact that this was just, it was kind of a democratization of this technology, and the results are stunning. Like, obviously there's a bunch of junk. Obviously there's a bunch of stuff that people would be embarrassed to take credit for today. But there's a purity to it as well. There's just a massive amount of creativity, and anybody can do it. It's an early iteration of what YouTube is now, of what we are partaking in at this very moment. Was Flash games and Flash animations. I mentioned Muffin Films earlier, which if you haven't seen those old shorts, highly recommend. I'm sure there are uploads on YouTube, and maybe the original site still works, but I have no idea. Toot says, the sequels didn't improve on the mechanics of the first, and the fancier graphics slowed everything down, so they feel worse to play. Gotcha. Well, you know what? Let's just jump in. Let's just play some stuff. Again, we don't have to focus on, if there's something else you want to talk about, feel free. I am here to chat with you. So go for it. We don't have to talk about anything related to Flash games at all. This is just something to do so that, look at that. I was stuck on a web page for half an hour or something. while we were talking about other stuff. So it'll give us a nice visual if we could look at some stuff. These are some things I saved. Some of these are the games I actually played a bunch as a kid, and then some of this stuff is just, it sounded neat. So we'll check it out. But let's start off with the stuff you guys were talking about. Let's start off with Bert Dyke. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Okay. Now here we are. The issue, of course. Oh, that's nice. No, I like the smaller. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. You stay there. Cool. Let's give it a shot. Now, some of these resize, and it's okay. And other ones, when you resize them, just break. So we will find out which it is right now. What are the controls? Okay, up is acceleration. Okay, down is reverse, and then we have our tilt. So do I want to be? Okay. I'm getting QWOP memories now. Okay, too much acceleration. Oh. Do I want to lean backwards as I try to go over this? Do I need more? Do I just... Hey. Also, I don't know what this music is. Hang on for a second. Yeah, I think I'll need to change this up. Let's see what we got here. Well, I don't know if you guys can even hear it. Who says it's the same controls as the Trials games? Yeah, so I was going to ask if this evolved into Trials, if it's the same people, or if they were just inspired by it or something. I wish I could just... Okay, space does restart. Nope. 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 Okay, we're in a bit of a situation here. As you can see, I don't have too many fans at this point. Okay. All right. E for pause. That's a nice feature. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 But they clearly don't want me to just accelerate the whole time. It's just not working, right? Yeah, that's... This is going to be a lot of them, by the way. In terms of the skill level you're seeing here. Very much QWOP, though. Yeah, I do feel the QWOP in this. Yes. Okay. I like sitting here for a second and then accelerating. That gets us over that. Oh, ho, ho. Sorry, cat. I set a new record. No, please don't put your head on the keyboard. Dude says there's a lot of trial and error. It's entertaining to watch up to a certain point and then gets excruciatingly boring. Perfect. And that is a great note. I'll give it a couple more tries and then we'll move on. But that was progress. That was progress, and I appreciate that the progress was... Oh boy, my pronunciation today. I appreciate that the progress was somewhat intuitive, but it was, like you said, it was also just trial and error of like, well, I haven't done this before. Let's see how that works out. And now I don't even remember what I did. But yeah, I would be interested to see if that was the same team that went on to do Trials. It does. I do see the similarities for sure. And of course, those games, you know, had a good run in their own right, I think. I think there were quite a few of those, if I remember correctly. So, but cool. Anyway, Dirt Bike, there you go. It is saved, and I'm sure I will try it again later. But yeah, we're gonna cruise. We're gonna cruise through some of these, and see what we can get. So Fancy Pants Adventures, I need to hit play, and let's go to town. Okay, is this one that I can resize also? Oh, beautiful! Look at that. Wow. Okay, how do I play? Sorry, let me kill the background music here. I'll just use the game music. Use left and right to move, the S key to jump, press up to open doors, down to duck. Duck while on a slant or landing to roll. Space pauses the game. Q cycles quality. Oh, should we? I think we should cycle quality. Right. Did I miss the start button? Oh, I just have to actually do it. I thought it was a static screen. That's funny. Very cute. Okay. Oh, I like the momentum. And S is jump. Sorry, I'm also using a split keyboard right now, so I'm hoping all these control schemes work out for us. Okay. Whoa. Oh, hey. Okay. I don't know if I ever actually played this one. I definitely saw it, you know, on Addicting Games or Miniclip or wherever it was. But yeah, this is like, well, I mean, similar to Dirt Bike, like, you can see the actual game in here, you know? You can see the potential for expansion. Ah, okay. And then the controls are context dependent, I guess we could say. So if you're upside down, you're pressing the opposite direction, basically. Does this take me somewhere? Oh, like Pizza Tower. Is this a bonus? Is Pizza Tower referencing this? I guess there's no harm in letting you preview the feature, now is there? Just don't expect the levels to take much advantage of it too much until the next game. Oh yeah, I guess I should tell you how to use it. Run and jump into a wall, keep that arrow held down. When you hit the wall, press jump again to jump off, spring off the wall. Uh-oh. Okay, we're not doing well. I got that. Okay, I see. Okay, I don't think we're gonna get out of this level. But I am enjoying it. The momentum of the character is great. It feels really good. You know what Godzilla movie I did see and like? Well, I've watched some of the originals. I don't know. I like well, any and or versus Godzilla movie tends to be pretty good. What's the one with Baby Godzilla? That's a good one too. But no, Shin Godzilla from, I guess that was a long time ago at this point. Shin Godzilla was great. And it also happened to be directed by Anno of Evangelion fame. But yeah, that was a really good one. It was like clearly low budget up to a point. And it's just, you know, everything went into the creature effects for sure. But that was a great movie. I really enjoyed that. That was bad. Yeah. I basically set myself up specifically to be smushed in the Star Wars trash shoot. Oh, okay. I need to be on the bigger step. Sorry. Okay, that works too. All right. Yeah, this is great. I mean, if it goes on much longer, I'll probably switch. But this is fun too. Yeah. Again, it actually feels like a real thing, which was not always the case with Flash games. Certainly, as I just talked about, it's relatively rare. Even Edmund McMillen of Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac fame got started doing Flash games too. So like, there was certainly there's certainly a precedent for people going on to, you know, develop what we now consider professional games or professional indie games, if that phrase makes sense. Okay. All right. And I'm trying to think, like, before Flash games were a thing, you know, computer games really just meant CD-ROMs to me, I guess. CD-ROMs were like, we did have some DOS game compilation discs. So basically shareware compilations. So to me, that also had the similar vibe of just like, here's 100 different games you can try out. You probably won't like most of them, but hey, it's 100 games. Okay, yeah, I'll probably stop here. It's fun though. Like the appeal is obvious, and it controls surprisingly well for a platformer where you're using a keyboard. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Kitten Cannon, we're probably not going to stick with for very long. It is indeed a classic. And for at least 2 days worth of computer class back in like 3rd grade, this was the one. This was on every screen. I don't even remember what we were supposed to be doing in computer class. I don't know if you folks have had a similar experience back in your school days. I don't know what we were even being taught, but we always seemed to have a massive amount of free time in the class. And it just became this. This was all of it. About 45. Okay. Not great. Not great. Ooh, there's the good stuff. So like I said, edgelord humor was a big component of this whole scene. That said, I mean, the visuals are almost comparable to like a Spy Fox game. I shouldn't say that. That's maybe a little bit too insulting. But it worked. You know, you draw your goofy 2D art assets, and that's it. That is the whole game. Yeah, we won't do too many shots out of the cannon here. But I do think there are many random elements going on, so there's not a ton of strategy. Just trying to hit things that'll propel you further along. The opposite of that, basically. Burst Films. There you go. Dude says, I still have all 5 CDs for the original Call of Duty. I don't think we had too many multi-disc games, really. Definitely Zoo Tycoon Expanded Edition, or whatever it was actually called, because it had Marine Mania and Dinosaur Digs, or Dino Digs. I want one more good one, and then we can move on. So that was a 2-disc game. Outside of that, probably not too much, because I also didn't know what the good games were, you know? In terms of professional stuff. Flash games, you could get a sense pretty quickly. What was that? Hey! Okay. That's enough. I'm good. I'm good. Age of War, let's give it a shot. Was this Juice? Yeah, Juice brought up Age of War. Let's try it out. I hope Juice is still here. You can take a look. Full screen even. Can you imagine? Whoa, too loud. Oh, it's so loud in my ears. Instructions. Okay, killing units. And I think we do need background music for this one. I'll go ahead and do that. Cool. All right. I'm going to do normal, please. Oh, no, this does have music. Sorry. Okay. Sell a turret. No, I would like to build a turret. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, okay. Okay. What is this? How much money do I have? Not much. Okay. $500. I can't do that. I guess I just have one spot where I can build turrets. Is that right? Cancel. Units. Okay. I get it. It's kind of a clicker, what we now call clicker games. This is not bad. I might have to take the headphones off. This is pretty intense. But yeah, tower defense was a big thing for me. I really enjoyed that stuff. So, I still see the appeal. Toot says the only computer classes I had were typing classes. Oh, that's actually kind of cool, at least from my view. And for some reason, they were taught by the vice principal. Other classes could book the computer lab, though. Oh, okay. That's a fun idea that you would just use it for another class, right? Like this week for social studies, we're going to do some research on something and see what we get. That would actually be neat. But I do think it's very, the idea of typing classes is sort of interesting to me now because it took me a very long time to learn how to type properly, and now I really enjoy having that skill. So it's the whole thing. Toot says, have you ever played the Snowball Fight Flash game? Probably. I don't remember the name, but I know it was made as an interactive digital Christmas card originally. It sounds somewhat familiar, and it might have even come up in that LGR video I mentioned at the start of the stream. I'm not sure. Oh, this just keeps going, huh? Okay. I want to save up for the primitive catapult. I don't know if we're gonna make it though. I don't think we are. Oh, and I don't have anywhere to place it either. Oh, I would have to sell this. Okay, how about this? Oh. Can I even restart? I mean, I didn't try hard enough. That's true, but can we? Okay. How about this? I'll start it up one more time. Let's try another quick round. I do see the appeal, and I automatically want the super upgraded turrets and stuff. Even the logos are loud. Snowcraft, says Toad. Toad? Toots. It's not an excuse, but I can explain why I said Toad. Within the last month, I have watched 6 or 7 different adaptations of The Wind in the Willows, and Toad is one of the main characters. I apologize. It's called Snowcraft. Okay. Hang on. Let's take a look. What do we got? Rolling the dice. Do we have Snowcraft? Yep, you bet. Which one? Here's Snowcraft. Here's Snow. Oh, is this like early 3D for Flash? Some Flash games do have 3D. It's pretty basic. Perfect. It's going on the list. It made the cut. Yeah. Okay. Real quick try. We'll see what we can do. How much do I have right now? I have 175. What is the mid-range turret? 200. Okay, so how about some units? Yeah, why not? I don't understand how I build up money, but I'm hoping this will do it. I'm hoping kills will just automatically generate some income for us here. I think it does. Okay, great. So which turret did I want now? I wanted this one, which is 200. We're nowhere near. Hopefully our Dino Man will continue on for quite a while. Toot says, also, Insaniquarium was great, but it's a long game by design. Okay, fair enough. Well, hey, I can at least add it to my... Oh, we're not going to make it. I just have to do this in the meantime. I can add it to the list for sure, because to be honest, I will be playing some of these games in my off time too. This is just, you know, some quick stuff for the stream. Toot says, I'm okay with being called Toad. That's, you know what? If you're familiar with that story too, like Toad's a fun character. I have no issues with Toad. But I'm just shocked that my brain is apparently not doing very well today. Yeah, anyway. What else do we have here? What else can we chat about? Actually, this will probably come as a surprise, but for a while, I had a radio show. It was a weird time. but I did have a radio show, and I was always so concerned in the breaks, you know, between songs. I was A-okay with putting together song playlists and stuff. I thought that was really fun. This is not professional, by the way. I should make that clear. This was just a college radio station thing. But I was so concerned. I was like, what am I supposed to talk about? And this is long before I was putting anything online. You know, I didn't have any sort of practice with this stuff at all. And I would just panic. I would just be like, It was the same as just being in the middle of an awkward conversation, you know, and struggling your way out of it. That's how I managed quite a few of the radio shows, which is unfortunate. Okay, well, I at least got to see the mid-tier turret, which I did appreciate. The sound effects were great, and it's fun. I love tower defense, and that much active management of your resources, I think, is actually pretty good. I'm not an RTS guy, but still, lots of fun. Okay, well, let's go ahead and try Snowcraft, since it's here. Let's take a look-see. Do we think this one has music? Here's the original resolution. Toot says, I'm only familiar with the meme image from that story. I highly recommend, there's a ton of the adaptations just on YouTube. So there's an adaptation with Michael Palin from Monty Python as one of the leads, as well as a Christmas special of that version. Oh, this is going. Oh. Am I green? No, I'm red. We already lost a man. I think I needed some instructions with this one. Here we go. Knock out the players. Right, I got it. Left click on one of your players and hold to set the power of the throw. Okay, I thought they would throw automatically. That is not what happened. Let's give it one more go. So I need to manually... Okay, these are backup. There we go. Okay. No. Get him while he's down. Okay, now I'm into it. Don't even try to get up. Oh, no. You hide. Can I tell them to duck behind cover? Nope, bad timing. That was bad timing on my part. Okay, we're getting mauled. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it out of this one. Nope. Okay. Maybe you didn't try it hard enough. I basically never do try it hard enough. It's an old problem for me, you know. Cool. All right, this will be a short one. This is for the younger folks. This game basically eventually translated into Flappy Bird, which is a whole other story. Apparently, the original creator of Flappy Bird removed the game from storefronts at a certain point because he just didn't think it was a good thing for like humanity or something like that. Fascinating in its own right, but this was certainly one of the earlier games that used similar, you know, basic concept. And I doubt this was the first version either, really. But again, yet another one that the whole class, the whole third grade class, was just crazy about. Yeah. I can't look away. Toot says the laughs of the children when you lose haunt my dreams. Oh yeah, and so it's just, yeah. They were intense. The level 2 children were really out for blood, I tell you. Talking about movies we've seen recently, that's always a good way to go. I recently rewatched Snow Day. We were just talking about snow days earlier today. How about that? The hitbox on that one, I don't know. I rewatched Snow Day. For anyone who doesn't know, this was a Nickelodeon Studios. I think it was called Nickelodeon Studios. Nickelodeon made some feature films. Sometimes you really can't look away from this game. I wish I could use spacebar or something. That would be kind of nice. It's not forgiving. Snow Day was this, you know, a professional feature-length movie, but it was supposed to have the attitude of like early 2000s Nickelodeon television, right? It was supposed to be kind of rude and crude, but also still family friendly enough that your parents wouldn't really get mad at you for watching it, but it also has some dumb jokes, so the kids think it's, edgy and rebellious to actually watch if they're under the age of 10 or something. I was shocked to find out that Chevy Chase is one of the co-stars of the movie, for one thing. Some other people whose names I don't remember are in the movie, and everyone's doing a pretty good job overall. Like, they're not phoning it in. And even more surprising was the fact that I don't think the script for that movie was phoned in either. Like, it's not good. It's not a movie that's really worth praising, although I'm sure you could find a YouTube video that does just that, and it's, making the argument that it was underappreciated in its time. I can guarantee it. But it's enough. It's enough, and it was definitely enough at the time where it was so much of delving into the snow day fantasy that was completely unrealistic. Like, I don't know about you dudes, but certainly where I grew up, like, yeah, you would get snow and sometimes get heavy snow, but it was never insane, especially not overnight or over a couple days. Like, it would take a while for the snow to accumulate and really build up and pack in and stuff. But in this movie, there's a massive snowstorm overnight, and they have to shut down the schools and, a lot of the offices and stuff like that. And the one image that I remembered from this movie before rewatching it, can't look away, gotta look right here, is the incredible snow fort cave setup that the little sister in the movie and her friends have, where they brought in some power cables, they have some extension cords, they have a CRT TV, they have some game system. I'd have to check again. I don't think it was a PS1, but it might be like PS1 generation console. And there's a slide. There's like an ice slide taking you basically underground into this snow cave. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm pretty sure it was in the trailers for the movie. And even to this day, that is still one of the only things that I really remember about the movie. Sort of the A plot, the central plot of the movie is about a high schooler who wants to get with a girl who's, out of his league, but just broke up with her boyfriend a few days ago, and is not interesting and is not fun for like a young audience at all. I guess that's when they were trying to bring in the teens. But regardless, still shocked, absolutely, to see that Snow Day was actually nowhere near as awful as I thought it was. And yeah, I think it was just free on YouTube. If anybody's interested enough to actually give it a watch, that's how you can do it. But yeah, that was one of the big ones. Earlier today, I watched Snow Dogs. Unrelated reasons. I'm not, going after movies with snow in the title specifically, but I did see Snow Dogs, which was not good. I will say the one thing I really appreciated about Snow Dogs, spoilers included here, if you're really worried about that, I loved that it didn't end up being about Cuba Gooding Jr. winning a big dog sled race, while having no experience. I always just assumed that is exactly where it would go. He was going to, my estranged mother left me a sled dog team. I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to win the big race, and the snobby guy is going to lose the big race. And that's not what happens at all. The snobby guy wins the race. He gets minor comeuppance, but he's just fine. And then it's over. It's more of a thing of him reconnecting with his estranged family, and that's it. I don't know. I always thought it was specifically a kids movie. Didn't feel right to me. I did not quite understand. Oh, this one's a little bit broken, huh? Not a big fan. Sorry. Yeah, not a movie for me. But I am glad I finally saw it. Tude says, "What's your favorite rom-com? Is it Serendipity? Maybe." No, I have to think seriously about this now. Okay, how about this? How about this terrible answer that is very embarrassing to say? When I was in like 7th grade, maybe 8th, maybe ninth. I forget when it came out. I might have said 500 Days of Summer. I am one of the people who actually liked that movie quite a bit when it came out. Mostly for the like filmmaking aspects of it more than anything else. I thought it was neat that it was non-linear and piecing everything together was kind of exciting. I don't think I had seen Pulp Fiction at that point. But it was cool for that aspect. It's heavily criticized nowadays, and rightfully so, for the definitive manic pixie dream girl portrayal, I guess, outside of like Elizabethtown or Scott Pilgrim. I think the term originated from a review of Elizabethtown. Anyway, yeah. So I would have said that. No, I feel like there's some I probably legitimately like. And also some like parody ones that I like. There's a They Came Together with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler is actually very good. I don't know. It's not to some people's taste. You know, it's too much of a parody or a little bit too on the nose. But I think the humor works perfectly for me. It's just great. But yeah, in terms of like a serious answer, like a real rom-com, I just have to look at a bunch of titles, you know. Does Pajama Game count? I kind of like Pajama Game. It's also a musical, so it probably falls into the category of musical rather than rom-com. Sorry, I was fascinated in this because, of course, this later became a Devolver-released game on consoles and PC and stuff. And I like that game a lot. I had no idea it was based on an old Flash game. So I'm not going to play through it for very long, but neat. I don't like this character design at all. I don't like using W to jump. And there doesn't seem to be a time slowing mechanic. I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I might have to move on. How about you, Tudes? I'd love to hear some suggestions. But I'm definitely not like against rom-coms in general, you know. And we do have a time slow thing. That space odd. Okay. I'm not against it. And when I was growing up, we actually watched a lot of those movies. I think because classic rom-coms, you know, from the 40s and 50s and 60s were deemed okay for family viewing. So there was a lot of that. Watched a lot of Doris Day stuff, Cary Grant stuff. Yeah. Like Charade. Does Charade count as a rom-com? I do like Charade. Where am I supposed to be going here? Am I missing something? Well, obviously I'm missing something. Oh, do I go down here? Oh, okay. It just looked like scenery to me. Okay. Yeah, the controls are pretty rough, for me anyway. But yeah, I think that's enough. I think we can go now. Why is this not... I promise I'm shooting this guy. Okay. Alright, that's enough. That's enough for now. Oh no, Toot says, is the stream dropping on your end? It's frozen. So often for me, it reminds me of your older streams, lol. Sorry to bring back bad memories. No. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me check. We do have 3 people watching. That seems to be updating. That seems about right. Comparison of the streams fail because one of the streams has an invalid configuration. Well, that doesn't mean that we're dropping frames. OBS says that we're not dropping frames at all. The CPU usage is at like 23%. Sometimes high CPU usage can cause stutters. So unfortunately, I don't see any issues there. I can run a quick like internet speed test, I guess. I also probably won't be streaming for a lot longer. But I apologize for the issues here. Okay. Well, my speeds are definitely slower than average. Though they are still miles and miles above. Yeah, no, my upload is still like really good. So that's unfortunate. I apologize for that. I'm not sure there's anything else I can do about it right now. Hopefully it clears up, but again, if it continues to be an issue, I'll just cut it short. That's okay. I've enjoyed the stream regardless, you know, just chatting and then messing around with some of the Flash game stuff. This is one I'll play very quickly. Just a classic. Mini Putt 2 was such an improvement over Mini Putt 1. And I love it to this day. Yeah, we won't do the full, 18. But it was just interesting enough to last for multiple computer classes, you know? Which one do we actually want? The far one, but it's on a gravity pad thing, so I don't know if... I'm just going to be very conservative here. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Good setup. Okay. Okay. How do we... I'm hoping to bounce it off the other side of that square. Nope, didn't happen at all. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not going to be a new record. Stay? Nice. That was actually a pretty good finish. Okay. All right. Could have done better, but you know. Maybe one or two more holes. You know, you get the idea, right? It's not the most complex setup. Although, I don't know, if this showed up on like a mobile storefront today, or even a console storefront for like 50 cents, I would probably get it. Something about simple golf games, especially mini golf, is I love mini golf. It's just great. Okay, birdie. We'll end on it. We'll end well on a high note there. Bloons TD. I feel like I've played Bloons on stream before, so maybe we should skip that one. I've never heard of this before. Manufactoria. Kind of looks like Factorio, but too complicated for right now. Winnie the Pooh's Home Run. I thought this was unofficial, which would make it more interesting, but this is an official Disney Flash game. So we'll move on. Pokemon Tower Defense. Alien Hominid also just became it got ported to consoles, you know? But yeah. Fishy is a personal favorite. It's kind of a long one, so I'll probably skip it for now. Kind of like Katamari, you can only eat fish smaller than you. You grow larger, you can eat more fish, but it also makes it harder to navigate around the larger fish that can one-hit kill you, basically. Toot says, it might be my device, tablet with a mediocre processor, but it can usually handle a stream. I apologize. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I really hope it's nothing on my end, but it still could be. It's just really frustrating when, you know, at long last, I finally upgraded the internet and it's vastly superior. Even upgraded the PC and everything. So, like, you would hope it would hold. But I guess not. That's really unfortunate. Okay, really quickly, I do want to show an all-time classic that's also incredibly loud. Bush Shooter is here. It's rated for 14 and over. As you'll see very shortly, it's basically perfect. Like, they just nailed it in one. And I think they captured the sentiments of a nation with a simple Flash game, you know? Tude says, also, I think Nabisco commissioned a pretty good mini golf game. That is good to hear. That is something I would like. Oh, we're playing now. Sorry. That is something I would like to check out. A little bit more violent than mini golf. But what's nice about this one, well, nice and bad at the same time. So Bush, George here, auto ducks. So if you're under heavy fire, he will auto duck. You can also just move your cursor down here to duck. So if there's just so much going on that you never have a window to get out of cover, you just can't. And you can potentially lose the score that way. Or lose the level that way, sorry. Even now, we're losing health pretty badly. I did alright yesterday. I got pretty far into level 2. And then just completely whiffed it. But still, the appeal is immediate, right? And this is absolutely another one that, like, we were paying attention to at the time. Although I don't think we appreciated the political component of this. The satire that we were witnessing. Yeah, like those tricky parts. Okay, one level is more than enough, to be honest. Absolute classic. I'm worried that if I play this guitar one, we'll get some kind of claim, even though the songs are relatively, you know, obscure, I would say. They're not the most popular things ever. But it is great. I loved Guitar Hero as a kid, but didn't have a system that could play it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm scrambling to this as an alternative, and it was okay. And even when I was playing it yesterday, not too bad. It can get pretty tricky, and I don't know, any rhythm game that's just exclusively on keyboard controls can be iffy, but fun. Yeah, fun, and it was super appreciated at the time, and I've only grown to like rhythm games more and more as time has gone on. Toot says, that was my favorite post 9/11 politics-themed Flash game, a surprisingly large category. Exactly, well, that's the thing, right? Like, because these things could be made so quickly, and because they were so simple, sort of, at their core, it was always, you could have a rapid response to world events or trends, or, you know, nowadays we would refer to a lot of it as memes, was being generated so fast by just completely different teams of people. Fascinating to watch, just at like I don't know, a sociological scale, sort of. Anything else? Interactive Buddy's a classic. It's a weird concept. You basically torture a, you know, very simple 3D model, and he flies around the screen, and that's it. Spank the Monkey, I guess, is, well, that has copyrighted music too. I think I can mute it. How about this? I'll mute the desktop audio on the stream. Unfortunately, it's great audio. But it would get me a copyright claim for sure. And that's it. This is the game. We did not know what it meant at the time. It was just exactly what you see before you. Oh, bad. Oh, also bad. You really have to follow through. Yeah. 335 is okay, I think. We'll leave it there. Animator versus animation sounds like a fascinating concept. I'm worried it's going to be more involved than I think. I guess we can at least open it, right? I've never tried it before. But, I mean, hey, this is kind of an animation channel. It seems appropriate. Let's see. And also, they're just showing the Flash interface at the time, which is kind of fascinating in its own right. Is this just the intro? Am I supposed to be doing something? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That was just the intro. Play original. What on earth? Okay. Use the tools on the left side of the screen to defeat the animation. Okay, how about lasso tool? Nope, that didn't seem to... I thought maybe I could capture him with the lasso tool. How about the rectangle? Oh! Oh, I thought it would hurt him. Okay. Okay. Oh! I mean... Nope. Hey, he's using it. He's using it much better than I was. Slip on the oil some more. No. Oh, it like takes over your mouse for a little bit there. Yeah, he can grab onto your cursor. This is actually kind of great, despite the fact that I'm just fumbling my way through here. This is sort of wonderful. Never heard of this one ever. I feel like I could just keep using this, right? Can I move those points? No, I can't. Hand, maybe? Oh, it's just... Okay, this is the best yet. He's trying to get another weapon. We're not going to let him. Well, we did. Yeah, no. Okay, he bubbled my hand. Oh. Okay, well, hey. Pretty great. Pretty great. Okay, well, it's been almost 2 hours. Again, I really don't plan to stream for this long. I just feel bad if I'm not putting out a bunch of videos around the same time. I would love to do this a lot more. I don't know. I don't think, you know, I think we lost some folks when we transitioned to the Flash games. So I'll probably start wrapping up. It's also just getting a little bit late. This has been fun. And again, I don't know. I'm just so happy to see that so many Flash-based projects have been essentially preserved. Like, unless, you know, this is just some sort of publicly available program that people continue to contribute towards. I can't imagine this really going away. You know, I don't know. Clearly people care. People care more than enough to keep these things around in some form. Because even trying to get Flash-based stuff to run on your browser, even with add-ons and plugins and things, is still very iffy. And even getting them to run just on your system natively is a big issue. And I continue to get occasional notifications from Adobe that pop up when I start the computer that say, hey, by the way, you need to uninstall Flash. And I refuse every time. They're just adamant for legitimate reasons. But anyway, this is such a wonderful alternative. I have not seen any like real issues with any of these running at all flawlessly. That is not something that happens with video game preservation in general. Incredibly impressive. I'm a huge fan of whoever spearheaded this project and the people who have contributed to it so far. Just awesome. So certainly, whether you know you grew up with some of these Flash games, it's absolutely worth revisiting them just for a little bit of fun. And if you never did, if you were too young for some of this stuff, it's kind of still worth it. I don't always say that about sort of legacy games, legacy videos, things like that. It is the case here. Like, this is so much of the basis of not only contemporary like indie game development, but also independent animation, or just platforms like this one where people are just uploading whatever the heck they want. And on that note, thanks for being here. I promise I do have more videos in the works. I apologize that I continue to have a terrible pace. It's just my life schedule right now is pretty rough. So yeah, thank you again. Thank you everybody who came out to the stream live. We had a couple new people today, I think. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here for a little bit. Really appreciate it. Thank you to anybody watching the archive version of the stream later on. Incredibly appreciative. That's a big thing for YouTube watch time and just keeping this channel around. Basically, it's massive. Okay, well, I've done more than enough talking. I'll stop now. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely week. Take care this weekend. Take it easy. Don't get any work done at all, okay? Yep, that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by.